Our big story tonight. It happened around 2:45 in the afternoon, a fire that broke out on the 4th floor of the Mantralaya building in South Mumbai. It soon spread upwards to the 5th and 6th and 7th floors. Many of the offices on those floors were completely gutted, including those of 5 ministers. And in fact, the Chief Minister's office, the Deputy Chief Minister's office were all extensively damaged. Well, it took over 30 fire engines to finally contain that blaze. It took well over 2 hours for that process. Fortunately, most people were evacuated in time. The Chief Minister was actually in his office at the time the fire broke out. He left the building soon after. He was there monitoring everything firsthand. But our reporters continue to be tracking all details of that story. Tejas joining us. Tejas, it's not often when you see a state secretariat go up in flames like this. I mean, what must Mumbai be feeling tonight?
Well, I have never seen something like this in all my years of reporting. And as you are pointing out, the Chief Minister himself was inside the building, and along with the Deputy Chief Minister, both managed to come down, of course, and were monitoring the situation right behind here, from the lawns of the Mantralaya itself. Let me just give you first visuals of the live visuals currently what's happening. And as you can see, one side of the Mantralaya is more or less secure. Still some embers you can see inside. On the 5th floor you can see some embers, but otherwise firefighting still going on. But on the other side, in one tiny portion, the fire is still on. So the fire is more or less contained. That is sound now that is confirmed by the Chief Minister himself. He just held a press conference some time back after he held an emergency meeting with the Deputy Chief Minister and the Home Minister and several other officials of the government and bureaucrats and IS officers, and they came to a conclusion that of course an inquiry must be held now. Was there a sabotage? He told media person that's something which the crime branch will be investigating now. They'll come to a conclusion. But he did say that, of course, the response was adequate. Initially, at least 21 fire engines came, ambulances also came. Not dwelling too much whether there was a delay or not. That's something, of course, the investigating officers will go into. But what we have heard from people who were right inside, also from ministers, is that the fire engines took at least 30 to 45 minutes to reach this place itself. Plus, we have the disaster management team of the entire state of Maharashtra operating from this place. How is it possible that the most secure building in Maharashtra, in Mumbai, doesn't have enough safeguards when it comes to a fire? The question, of course, on the minds of people today is what really happened with the fire elsewhere. Here today we saw that the entire resources which the Maharashtra government had were put to use here. They were also called from neighboring municipalities. Fire engines were summoned from there. You had the Force 10, a force which is supposed to battle terrorists and emergencies. They were summoned in. The Navy also was used. But will such a response is not of course expected when a fire takes place elsewhere. So what really happens in such situation? That's one important question. As far as documents inside the Mantralaya are concerned, this is the state. This is where the state operates from, and all policy decisions are made here. So all those documents, scanning of those documents, that process had already begun. The digitization of those documents had already begun. That's what the Chief Minister had to say. So most probably most of those documents have been saved. But of course, the point really here is today was a lucky day. 4,000 people were inside. Nobody really lost their life. 11 people have been injured and 1 is serious. But what if something really had gone wrong, Ankita, and several people had died here? It would have been absolutely chaotic. Secondly, of course, the investigation which the crime branch will take place will be absolutely critical as to what really happened here. Was there a sabotage, or was this just a freak incident where a fire broke out here, and that's the reason why the entire Mantralaya from all 4 sides has been gutted?
Well, I think, yes, questions of sabotage will have to be investigated, but already, given how high security, high priority this building is, questions of fire safety lapses will come up even before that, Tejas. And, it wasn't just Mantralaya today. We saw a second fire, possibly equally devastating in Pune. And Imtiaz, take us through that. What was the situation now at that shopping mall in Koregaon where a fire broke out?
Well, Ankita, it seems to be the day of fire in Maharashtra, not just in Mantralaya where there's a huge fire, also in Pune where I'm standing right now. A major fire started at the Koregaon Park Plaza in the posh Koregaon Park area. It started between 5:30 and 6 o'clock, and according to initial reports, it started on the ground floor of this huge mall, and some reports say that it started from the Shoppers Stop store, which occupies almost half of this huge mall on the ground floor, and it spread rapidly rapidly. In fact, we have been told inside the Shoppers Stop store has been completely damaged, and 8 fire tenders have so far been pressed into service. There were initial reports that there were hundreds of customers inside the mall when the fire broke out, and there were all equal number of workers and security staff also at that time when this fire broke out. Initially 2 fires were rushed here, and looking at the devastation, the more fire tenders were pressed into service. We could still see smoke billowing out of this building. We can't see because the power has been shut off in this entire area, though police say that no loss of life has been reported, but there's a huge damage to property that has been reported from this mall. The cause of the fire is still being investigated.
All right, Imtiaz and Tejas, thank you so much, both of you, for joining us and to give those latest developments there. But let's just take you through some of those eyewitness accounts in Mantralaya, people who were there when the fire started, who documented those moments for us.
शॉक सर्किट से आग लगी हुई है, लोग भाग रहे थे, इसलिए सब पूरा धुआं हो गया था, इसलिए वहां से सब लोग भाग गए। वहां
दूसरा माला पे पूरा धुआं आने के बाद सामने का दिखता नहीं था, हम लोग सभी भाग गए।
मिनिस्टर अंदर थे, अंदर से बाहर आ गए तो उसने देखा कि वो आग लग रही थी, तो उन्होंने सब लोगों को एक इकट्ठा किया और नीचे के माले में लाया और फायर ब्रिगेड को फोन किया।
कितने मिनट में फायर ब्रिगेड डिपार्टमेंट
30 मिनट लेट हो गया। 30 फोन करने के बाद भी उनका गाड़ी 20 मिनट लेट आया। गाड़ी आने के बाद भी उनके गाड़ी लगने के लिए 20 मिनट लगा, इसलिए आग बढ़ते गई। खाली 4थे माले पे एक ही रूम पे पहले आग लगी थी, बढ़ते बढ़ते 5वां 6वां भी सब जगह बढ़ते गई।
अगर सर्वाइवर टीवी देख रहे होंगे तो उनको ये मैसेज पहुंचाइए थ्रू योर न्यूज चैनल कि नेवी हेलीकॉप्टर्स आर एयरबॉर्न टू सेव देम।
ये मेरा यही काम था कि लोगों को बचाने का और अगवा करने का और बाहर निकालने का। जितने लोग हो सके उतने बाहर निकाले। कई लोग फंसे थे तो वहाँ से लोगों को बताया और सीधे से निकाला। कैजुअलिटी नहीं होनी चाहिए।
Well, 2 major fires today in Maharashtra. We're asking, will fire safety finally be made a priority now that one of those fires at least was in the state secretariat? Can it get more critical than that, really? Well, joining us tonight, a range of voices from Mumbai. We have Shaina NC, spokesperson for the BJP Maharashtra. We have Prahlad Kakkar, ad filmmaker. We're also hoping to be joined by radio jockey Malishka of 93.5 Red FM, people who've been giving regular updates on the traffic, which has come to an absolute standstill in parts of South Mumbai. We're also hoping to be joined by Harish Iyer, social media activist. But here in Delhi with me, R.C. Sharma, former director of the Delhi Fire Services, Neelam Krishnamurthy, mother of 2 people who died in the other terrible fire tragedy, one that's become pretty much symbolic of India's losing battle with fire safety. We also have with us tonight KTS Tulsi, senior advocate of the Supreme Court. Prahlad Kakkar, let me begin with you. As a Mumbaikar tonight, I mean, really, those images, I think, shocked everybody across the country. The state secretariat going up in flames, the chief minister, a bystander, really, as his own office went up in flames. What are your thoughts tonight?
It's terrible. I mean, if the secretariat can actually catch fire so easily, and so many people actually died in that fire, and I've seen people on television latkoing from balconies and jumping off, which is like really shocking. The fact was that on the other side, there is no credibility left in this state for the politicians and the bureaucrats. And the Twitter messages that are going across the city are that, oh God, no politicians died, how sad. You know, I mean, that's the level of cynicism and that's the level of tragedy that people have now got so used to in this city that life has become so cheap. And that is the sad part of it.